I'm just gonna kill everything that moves.
The Holler Kings, where the horror's southern fried.
Hello, I'm Craig.
And I'm Adam.
And we're the Holler Kings.
The motherfucking Holler Kings.
It's true. It's all true.
Yeah. This is, I guess, technically like our Christmas episode.
Christmas.
It's like having a wart removed.
I don't know what that is.
Like Christmas.
Oh, of course.
It's one of the phone, from the phone calls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's about abortion.
Good old abortion.
Merry Christmas.
Ho, fuck. That's another Black Christmas.
No. Is that remake or the original?
No, original.
Original? Oh.
Yeah.
You know your stuff.
I do. I've watched that movie a lot.
So on our Christmas episode / I guess New Year's episode, ushering in 2023, we're going to send out 2022 on a little film called Pearl.
From the world of X, a stunning Technicolor nightmare.
You are not well, Pearl.
It's clever, violent, and wicked.
I will not let you leave this farm.
Breathtakingly scary. Pearl, only in theaters.
Pearl. That's right, baby.
I think this was just kind of a mutual agreed upon film to talk about.
Sure. We
We both really enjoyed X. Please go back and check out that episode if you want to hear our thoughts.
Yeah. We need some more dicks in horror movies.
But we both...
We need more dongs in horror.
There you go. Yeah, we both really enjoyed it. Both recommended it. Both felt that it was weirdly authentic, even though it was shot in another country and not in Texas.
Yep.
That is why this is grandfathered into this podcast about Southern horror, is because the setting is Texas. With that said, tell us about Pearl.
Yes, Pearl follows the obvious character of Pearl on her family farm in the year 1918 and her dreams of stardom and getting off her family farm and the lengths she will go to, I guess.
You know, this being a prequel to X, do you feel like you need to have seen X to watch this film?
No, not inherently. I feel like this is a solid enough story that you can watch it. Because there's not like a whole lot of callback to X where you need to know things other than, I guess, maybe, I mean, you don't even need it for that, but the alligator maybe.
Right.
Everything else I think is, you know, enough in its own world that you don't need to have seen X before that.
I kind of wonder, like, in future generations or future years, how many people will just watch it in order.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like chronological
Right.
Timeline in order or whatever. Because I think it would totally work that way and flow into each other kind of naturally in that way. But who is behind Pearl?
Ty West.
Yes.
Yeah, and I guess Mia
I
Goth?
assume it's Mia.
Mia
I
Goth.
don't know.
Yeah, because they co-wrote it together and West directed.
What's the inception of this? Tell us.
From what I have understand, it's just kind of something that they kind of came up with and kind of beat out a whole idea and script for it while quarantining before shooting X, and then talked to A24 and was like, while we're here, why don't we just do a prequel? And kind of got the green light at that point.
It's pretty remarkable and
Really impressive.
to me, it's insane that X came out early in the year and now already a sequel is out just a few months later. And I don't think it's a spoiler to reveal that there's an upcoming sequel as well.
Right.
That's going to come out.
Yeah, the
I guess in the
teaser's
new
out
year,
there,
right,
so yeah.
in 2023. And I just feel like somehow inexplicably this is under the radar to the mainstream. Like, I think it's a big deal with horror people and a big deal with like cinephiles, because again, Martin Scorsese I think even mentioned that he loved this movie, but it just seems like it should be much more fanfare around this movie in these two movies than what we're getting, and I'm not really sure what happened where it's kind of derailed from the mainstream. Because again, I feel like, if like Jordan Peele made these movies, I feel like it would be a huge deal. You know what I mean? But he's a huge name, so that's not really fair.
True. Yeah. To be fair, Ty West isn't exactly household name in that sense.
And maybe that's part of it, is because he's kind of established as a certain lane of horror, like indie horror. So maybe it's kind of just stays there a little bit.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, because most of his stuff has been pretty indie fare. I know he had like a couple movies with like some bigger stars, like the Western he did and everything, but even that I think is still pretty on the indie front.
Right.
It's maybe on the higher side of it, but nothing really like blowing up theaters or anything like that. So.
But at the end of the day, at least it looks like Ty West is getting to do exactly what he wants to do with this story, and he's getting to do 3 movies set with these characters. It's pretty cool.
Really awesome. For someone that has always been a fan of his since The Roost, it's really awesome to see him be able to do something like this. He's never really let me down. I even like Cabin Fever 2 for its batshit craziness. I know even he doesn't like it, but which is fair. I would like to see what his cut would have been, but man, it's just so cool to see him, and he still hasn't disappointed me.
How'd you feel about Pearl?
Right there. I'm charged up. I love this movie. This movie was amazing. And I guess it makes sense given that this basically combines 2 of my all-time favorite movies ever that I would consider to be some of the best of all time, with Wizard of Oz and Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So it's basically those 2 put into one, just horror movie. So yeah, I absolutely loved it. And God damn it, she does have the X factor. Mia Goth is amazing in this movie. Like, she blew me away. I don't know how you felt about it, but holy shit. I was just charged up. Yeah, like I said, I fucking just loved every minute of it.
I had a much different reaction.
Oh no. Is this going to be a Halloween Ends discussion?
I don't really understand what all the hype is about, and to be honest, I only made it about 35 minutes in before I turned it off. I'm just joking. No, I felt the same way. No, I can't keep the ruse going. I really enjoyed it. Love the setting. It's so unique.
Yeah.
For cinema in general, this era of 1918 and rural setting, 1918, and not involving World War I directly. You know what I mean? It's like characters left over, while other people are away fighting a war. I mean, to me, it's just extremely unique. And I love this idea of burgeoning technology with cinema and how it's fascinating these young people in the story and how they get swept up into it and want to be a part of it.
Just stars in their eyes, from it, and just opening up a whole new world, especially with everything so bleak around you. It's easy to want to have that escapism. And I guess it's kind of the birth of what we've all kind of felt, and a lot of times of just wanting an escape from reality.
Well, with Pearl, it's like she is, I mean, Pearl it's a complicated character because she is a villain in the classical sense, right? I mean, she is a slasher in the classical sense.
Yes.
But they give you enough through the performance and the writing to, sympathize might be the wrong word, but you understand it on a weird level.
This movie makes you drop your guard a lot because she is so, like, in moments, she's so sweet and charming and kind of like timid in ways that you start rooting for her and you care about her. Then she does something fucked up and you're like, oh, That's right. I'm in a horror movie and she's dry fucking a scarecrow to completion. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Back in it. Yeah,
Pardon me,
yeah,
she
for
was
sure.
making love to that scarecrow.
My apologies, sir.
How dare you be so crass?
I'm married. Yeah. Yeah. It does. It just keeps you. It keeps you on your toes because you want to forget what her character is capable of, and you do forget. At least I did. I was so just like, oh, I just want. I mean, like the motif of Wizard of Oz. She's so much like an older version of Dorothy. She's very Judy Garland in her performance, and I heard that Wes had her watch Wizard of Oz before making it. I'm sure she had seen it before, but just to get a refresh out of it and get a kind of sense of what they were going for. And you do get that feeling with her that you root for her.
Yeah.
And then she does something fucked up and you're like, no, I can't root for her. It doesn't matter. Can't do it.
And it's interesting because it is a slasher film, and because you know how traditionally those films play out. It's almost like every interpersonal relationship she has, is doomed. You know what I mean? So the more you get to know a character that she's talking to, there's kind of that little lizard brain part of you that's going, when's she gonna like decide not to deal with this person anymore? So it's it's almost like scene by scene. She takes down someone that you're getting to know or whatever. Man, I tell you. To me, the most tragic character, though, even though she's, in her own way tragic, the dad in this movie. It's such a great performance by someone that can't speak, because her father had suffered, I assume it's supposed to be a stroke, but it might be polio related because of the era. I'm not sure what's going on.
Said something about having a sickness, so maybe something like that.
It might be polio.
Yeah.
But he is emotive, like you can see facial expressions a little bit, but he can't speak, he can't get up out of his chair. But this actor gives this great performance. You can tell he can still think, and he is seeing stuff play out in front of him, and he's being treated like an invalid, but he probably is still there mentally. And just seeing the abject terror in his eyes sometimes.
He
is just
really
off the
delivers a
charts.
hell of a performance with those eyes.
This really well constructed, well written part. And man, I mean, I just waiting for him to finally be mercifully taken out.
I think that really is a good build up of dread, because there's nothing good for any of these characters that Pearl is around. And so from the moment you see him and you get those Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibes where she's feeding him and you're like, oh, he's a grandpa. But just from that moment, nothing's going to end well for him. And it's just like, oh, just get it over with. This is going to be awful.
I loved this motif of, there's well-to-do in-laws. Her husband that's away at war, who we know
from the first.
Howard, right?
Yeah, Howard, yes, from X.
Yes. He's away in World War I, but his in-laws are very well-to-do, and they come by and give Pearl's family a pig, which her mother rejects because her mother is very militant and very old school.
We don't accept charity.
And for whatever reason,
you eat that pig.
This pig, which is beautiful, by the way, it looks primed and ready to eat.
Oh man, I was like, God, that looks so good.
It sits out on the front porch through the whole film, pretty much, and slowly decays and slowly has maggots growing on it, and it's very grotesque. But it's almost like the further along that pig is, the further along the just horrible
destruction, and her sort of break from her spiraling down to just being like, I'm just gonna kill everything that moves.
Tell me some standout moments, standout scenes for you.
It was interesting how they worked modern day into like 1918, and it basically working with like the whole pandemic and everybody like running around in masks and all that. That was really interesting to see. I talked about all the motifs of like Wizard of Oz, where there's even a point, you got a scarecrow in it. There's a point where she's riding the bike, like the Wicked Witch of the West character, even with like a top hat type thing, and outside of the theater just has this architecture, just gave me vibes of like Wizard of Oz. I don't even know why. I will say, with as far as like deaths and stuff go, I don't know if you want to get into that yet.
Well, you want to do our standard issuing spoiler warning /
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to get into spoilers
Well,
here.
it's pretty obvious we recommend this.
I mean, and if you've seen X, I mean, you kind of already. This is a prequel. You already know kind of an idea of how things are gonna go down.
And I think as of this recording, this is still only available to rent. I don't think it's streaming
Yeah, it's not
anywhere just
streaming
yet.
anywhere.
But honestly, I do feel like it needs to be financially supported. So if you're a fan of horror,
Yeah, you can rent it for like $5.
Yeah, I highly recommend throwing in a couple bucks just to sort of, vote with your money a little bit, because I would love to see these.
Yeah, champion something like this.
Yeah.
It's such a cool concept that they've done here. And he basically created like a Technicolor nightmare. This is like Wizard of Oz in a horror movie.
Yeah.
Like, it's so beautifully shot. It is insanely impressive for them to have just what feels like on a whim come up with the concept of a prequel,
Right.
write it out right before they're shooting another movie, and then just go into production right when they finish the movie. And this doesn't feel rushed at all. This feels like they put so much time into it. It's insane.
So we both recommend this. Check it out.
Yep.
We are now
Yep.
into spoiler territory. I don't think we'll just horribly spoil it. Maybe. Okay, so I guess
Maybe.
we are.
I mean,
Okay.
it's there is one point. I mean, I guess I don't. We'll get to it.
Okay,
get to it.
we'll do the old rule of like maybe we will spoil the shit out of this, but we're
Yeah.
not going to break it down beat by beat.
Right.
Just
Yeah.
So
Yeah. We're not going to give you a full recap.
yeah, tell us what stand out to you. It sounded like there
mean-
was a scene you really wanted to talk about.
It's Mia Goth's monologue. This is at the end of the movie, so like he's again spoilers. The whole concept of this is there is a she finds out from her in-laws, as we discussed, that it's her sister-in-law, that there's going to be a audition held for a dancer for like some type of church thing.
Yeah, it's like a touring dance group for a church.
Yeah, which seems weird, but
Kinda weird.
whatever. So that they're going to be holding auditions, and so Pearl's super excited. That's what she wants to do. She wants to be a dancer. She wants to be a star. And so she ends up going to these auditions. After the audition, she's walking back with her sister-in-law, brings her sister-in-law inside and starts having a conversation. And Pearl's upset and everything, and her sister-in-law says, well, if you have something to say, because she says she has something, she wants to talk to Howard, basically. And she's like, well, if you have something to say, just pretend I'm Howard and say it. And then Pearl goes into this monologue that felt like 10 minutes. I don't know how long it was. And I don't mean felt like 10 minutes in a bad way.
Right.
But it was just to have it basically on her face the whole time, and her to venture into so many different emotions, and then to go back to so many other emotions, all while delivering this dialogue and having it be believable, and you sucked into it and not knowing how to feel. Because at this point, I mean, she's killed people, so she's not a good person. And she's going into this whole thing about how she's not a good person, but you can see it on her face that she does, I feel like a part of her does feel bad about it, maybe can't control it. Maybe this is just that one kind of moment of vulnerability where she kind of senses that she's not right. It was just blew me away, her performance in that moment.
There's lots of just confidence. I feel like it's the type of thing that could only happen when an actor and director really trust each other and trust each other's instincts and everything. Because there's so many moments like that, I feel like, in this movie where it lingers a little bit longer than normal.
Yeah.
And, I mean, spoiler, the ending shot, Mia Goth just maintains a smile through the entire credits.
That's the other point I didn't sure if you want to get into.
I
Yes.
mean, just stuff like that is just unbelievable to me.
Again, that's one of those things that just had me charged. I'm just like, what?
Right.
Her performance is unreal in this, and she just sits there with the fakest smile you've ever seen. Deliberately, it's supposed to be that way. She starts like crying while just giving this huge, just like fake smile, and she drops the facade and stops smiling, and then she starts smiling again. It had to be like 2 minutes at least.
Right.
I don't know how she did it. She was unreal in this movie.
No, I agree. I mean, you alluded to it. The audition sequence, I think, is one of the most like uncomfortable scenes, seeing it play out, and it's building to this point. It's been hinted, and just logically as a person with intelligence that she's going to do badly in this audition, that she has this really distorted view of herself as a star, and when she gets out in front of people to actually dance professionally, it's going to go horrible. But it goes so far off the charts horribly, not just in her audition itself, but her reaction to it. That's the thing that's really uncomfortable, obviously.
And that's kind of to my point of where you feel for Pearl, and then she does something that takes that away. Because at first, she's just really kind of, you feel for her at first, because she's just like, you can tell she's upset and sad and devastated, and you feel bad for her character. You're just like, God, you just want to give her a hug and be like, it's going to be okay. And then she just flips the fuck out, and you go, oh, that's right. This is not a good person.
Right.
And then it gets really just like, oh, God.
Well, it's there's lots of little sidetracks or everything. She kind of has, I guess, an affair essentially with the projector of a local cinema.
Yes.
That's kind of a bourgeois, bohemian type guy that lives in the theater and his love of cinema.
God, that sounds like a dream.
Oh yeah, and he basically sells her on this idea of like, oh, we'll go to Europe. Film is huge in Europe, and you can be an actor there so easily because they appreciate art and blah blah blah. And he really plants the seed inside of her head. She's not smart enough to realize, or with it enough to realize, he's full of bullshit or whatever. Yeah. And when that kind of
lives in a fucking theater.
Right.
He's not doing anything.
He's a fly-by-night type of guy. Yeah. And, so you can't put any stock in anything he's saying. And when it's kind of revealed that he has no serious intentions of, bringing her to Europe or whatever, you just keep waiting for it to build to that moment. And how is she going to deal with that reality? And that's the biggest thing. It's kind of like, your dreams versus the way things really are. And it's like, even though this is like very bombastic and swinging for the fences style, I think there is a little piece of all of us that kind of relates to this idea of, you have dreams or ambitions, and then, at the end of the day, most of us have to work.
What? I don't know what you're talking about at all.
But, I feel like any human being has, ambitions
for sure,
that have to be kind of stifled because there's reality and there's bills and whatever. And seeing this hyper exaggerated version of this young adult kind of dealing with those ideas, I thought was really fascinating, and it really spoke a lot about, again, I know this is very surface level stuff, but social media and young people now wanting to be influencers. And that being the career trajectory for so many people, that they see a Mr. Beast of the world and think that I'm doing that, period. You know what I mean? And if it doesn't work out, you end up being the guy that, tried to talk to Logan Paul, and Logan Paul goes, I don't know who you are. You need to do this yourself. And then you make a video of yourself crying in your car. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like...
Have you been on my YouTube?
No, I'm just recounting my own stories. But you know what I mean? Like, I feel like they did a really smart version of illustrating some of those modern issues with something that happened over 100 years ago with this burgeoning technology of cinema, which was so new at the time that I could see how it really captivate a lot of people and make a lot of people hopeful for things that were probably never going to happen, you know, and that still happens to today. I mean,
just like social media is kind of, still in its infancy, even though, it's been around for a good 20 years, roughly. but still,
yeah, that's crazy. Yeah,
that's still pretty young. Yeah.
I'm old enough to remember Friendster. Do you remember Friendster?
Oh yeah, I remember. I never had Friendster, but
I never did
remember
either.
it. Yeah.
It's so funny. I resisted all that stuff. I resisted cell phones and social media, and then like.
Oh, I was the opposite. I was like, give me a MySpace.
Really?
And give me that brick Nokia phone.
I had a placeholder MySpace, and then someone introduced me to Facebook, and then I kind of unfortunately got into it.
I don't know why, but I fought YouTube for the longest. I was like,
Really?
I don't want anything to do with this. And then eventually I'm like, oh yeah, it's pretty much gonna be the only thing I watch.
I know. I have to resist watching YouTube sometimes because
For sure, it's so easy.
it turns into almost like doom scrolling style where you're just watching stuff.
Yeah,
and you get.
You're like,
around this rabbit
I
hole.
don't have time to watch a movie right now. 2.5 hours later, you're still watching little videos
sure.
on YouTube.
I fall into that well sometimes of just watching people's opinions on movies and stuff, and it's
Yeah.
like I could have watched a whole movie by now. You know what I mean? Discover something new, but I'm watching 6 different takes on the same movie. You know what I mean? Which is still fun, but it's
Movie
just
I
kinda
didn't
like,
even care for.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's just Anyway, we're on a sidetrack, but I just thought it was really great.
We went down a YouTube rabbit hole there.
The parallels of what Ty West and Mia Goth are exploring in this movie to 2022, and I guess that's going to echo in Maxine as well. With an '80s culture version of it, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, I guess that remains to be seen what they're going to do with it.
Were there any kills that really stood out to you or anything like that?
You know what? It's very mundane, but I thought when she killed the projectionist, it was so matter of fact. Something about it was
Yeah.
really striking to me.
I really love the setup that, because it happens in so many horror movies where you're just like, bro, turn the fuck around.
Sure.
Just turn around.
Right.
Why won't you turn around? Turn the fuck around. I know you don't know you're in a horror movie, but turn around. And you're completely what's it? Just like
Complacent or something like.
well, just he's not giving any showing. He doesn't have any fear of her character. He's just writing her off as not being any type of threat to himself. And so he gets you're just like, bro, turn around. And then he finally turns around, and you expect to see her come in rage with a pitchfork, and then there's nobody there, and you're like, oh, okay. And then he turns around, and, oh, there she is. And it's like, I thought that was a really good kind of bait and switch moment.
Well, it's nice too to see that actor. All the supporting cast is really great in this, by the way. They
Yeah.
do a great job of grounding this world because Mia Goth is so over the top and melodramatic in a
Yeah.
good way.
Yes.
But these
It
other
really
people,
fit well.
yeah, the other people kind of ground the setting. But I loved almost all the deaths. I thought were so the way the actors getting killed play it out are so almost like, I don't want to say mundane, but they're almost like realistic in this
Yeah.
surreal story almost. Because you almost always see that point, the turn where the person becomes truly scared. There's a moment where they're like, oh shit, this person might hurt me, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
But then there's a point of no turning back where they realize almost all these characters are like, I'm gonna die right here, like this person is killing me.
Yeah.
And there's like, you can just see the acting of the projectionist and the in-law. I thought that was a really good death scene as well. The sister-in-law.
Yeah,
where-
the Texas Chainsaw Massacre death.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
it's-
my favorite, where she's chasing her down with the axe, kind of like the hitchhikers chasing Sally down the road, cutting her with the razor. She's
Sure.
cutting her with the, kind of not really stabbing her, but I guess kind of just like slicing her up with the axe as she's running along the dirt road. Yeah, I thought that was kind of my favorite one, was that.
That's what I feel like Ty West does a great job with that. That's an X as well, where there's this characters realizing the situations they're in, and
Yeah.
it's not just like a standard where it's still fun in a weird way, but there's some tinge of reality to it, which I think kind of elevates it a little bit.
The characters aren't given the relief of it coming out of nowhere. They know it's coming, and it's kind of that point of you know, like we were just saying with the in-law. that right in that tightrope of, is there some way I can get out of this? If I say the wrong thing, maybe if I just, maybe it's like, a wild animal. If I just look at them and back away slowly, I'll be fine, type thing. Yeah, and it's just one of those things of just like you're in a bad spot, and there's probably nothing you can do about it.
Well, I totally love this. Did you, if you had to weigh it against X, I think that's kind of the classic question. Which one did you prefer of the two?
It's so difficult because I really love the vibe of X. Just that I've always kind of thought that like I should have been like young teenager in the 70s. I feel like that was my era that I didn't live through. So that whole vibe of the 70s era, and the exploitation movies, one of my favorite subgenres of horror. I really love it, but this one really blew me away. And like I said, it kind of mixes my two favorite movies of all time.
Hold on, Wizard of Oz is one of your favorite movies?
Yeah,
I thought you were terrified of the witch.
I was, but like now at this point, like it's become like one of my favorite movies of all time. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. It terrified me as a child, but nowadays, like it's one of my favorites for sure.
Very cool.
I think I'm gonna go with Pearl. I just really was impressed with what they did with this movie. Kind of blew me away, really.
I'm unfortunately, for the listeners, I'm in agreement with you because I know that kind of makes for a boring listen, but I never thought I would like this more than X because I was really taken by X as well, but I think this one just fired on all cylinders. I think kind of like the synergy of these people working together before bled over into this, and it made it even more special. There's a part of me that hopes, I know this is like Hail Mary style, maybe they need to quit while they're ahead, but there's a part of me that hopes they introduce another character in Maxine so they can explore other eras. I would love to see similar motifs in the 90s or whatever, you know what I mean, like bleed over into other spots, but maybe it does need to be a solid trilogy and just
it's probably the best to do it, but it would also be, we got between 1918 and 1979. Let's see Pearl get up to some more shit.
True.
But no, it's probably best just leave it at the trilogy.
Yeah, I mean, they did so well that
leave us wanting more.
There's going to be
instead of being like, okay, stop.
Law of diminishing returns type of. Plus, I mean, these people are so talented; they probably need to go off and do something totally different.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure this is like Ty West. I think this is his first like sequel of any sort.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I know he did Cabin Fever 2, but he didn't do Cabin Fever 1. I think this is the first time he's ever made a sequel to any of his stuff. So,
well, grade it. What's your letter?
A+.
A+.
I'd give it an A++, but I guess we just do A+.
I don't remember what I gave X.
I don't either.
Because I feel like this should be more, but I'm still going to go with a solid A. I loved it, but I'm still trying to reserve the A+ for just like something that just, you know what I mean? Like I need everyone to see it, and I get how this would not be for everyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see that too, but I just can't help it. This movie just, it touched me in a particular way for sure. I really was impressed by it.
And it's tough for me to believe anyone that's not a cinephile wouldn't enjoy this movie. I'm not saying love it as much as we did, but it just seems like if you really love movies, that this would be something. Honestly, I'm really interested. You know that Spielberg movie, Fabelmans?
Yeah.
That's all about filmmaking and the magic of cinema. I'm sure it's wonderful, but there's a part of me that thinks Pearl is going to be a better version of that.
Maybe
this is about like love of cinema and how beautiful and important and magical all that stuff is, but it's doing it in a non-sentimental way.
Yeah,
and I think that's tougher to do, and there's something more serious going on here than people like. The Fabelmans is probably going to win all these Oscars, or at least be nominated
for sure.
And Pearl's probably going to fly under the radar and not get any kind of attention of that sort.
Yeah, Meg Goth definitely should be getting an Oscar.
That's what I'm
But,
saying.
she won't even be acknowledged.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I understand that this isn't going to win a bunch of things, but it just feels like it should be acknowledged and rewarded a little bit by the mainstream. But you know what? Lots of great things build momentum, and I bet 20 years from now, these movies are going to be pretty substantial for young people and, going forward. So
it's hard to call stuff like horror classics, but I could totally see this being one of those classic horror movies that people are still talking about in 20 years.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So that's a solid. I guess we're gonna skew with an A+, because I give it a solid A. You gave an A+.
I mean, we can go A. It don't matter.
I don't know if we've ever given anything an A+
We haven't.
so far.
I don't think we have.
Fair enough. This is still just an A. I guess we both have to give it an A+ for it to be that level. That's fair. The Holler Kings say check it out. We give it an A.
Yep.
Pearl. On every episode of the Holler Kings, we explore a segment called Holler at Your Boys.
Holler at your boys, y'all.
Open topic. And today, since we're heralding the new year of 2023, I thought,
Right on the cusp.
let's talk about things in the horror genre that we're looking forward to in the year of our Lord, 2023.
Boom.
Adam.
There it is.
Kick us off, unless you want me to go first.
I mean, I think the most obvious would be Maxine.
Boom.
Yeah. Like, cannot, especially after Pearl, I cannot wait to see Maxine. I was already excited for it, but now I'm elated. I'm just so excited for it. I cannot wait. I think that's the most obvious one to throw out there.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I wanted to lead with some upcoming Dracula projects,
Oh, okay.
and then after that, I'll give you the floor.
Go for it.
Well, yeah, I think it's on the tip of your tongue. Renfield is the main one I'm looking forward to, but there's some special things about it. So Renfield, for those of you that don't know, this is Nicholas Hoult will play the iconic Renfield character, what do you call it? The familiar, I guess,
Right, yeah.
of Dracula, and Nicolas Cage is playing Dracula. But the what makes me really excited about it is the logo was classic. It looks like the Dracula from 1931.
Really?
That was just a big deal to me. But also Robert Kirkman came up with the basic story concept.
Oh, nice.
I think you know the road I'm going down here. He's from Kentucky.
Yep.
The director, his name is Chris McKay. He's from like Adult Swim and stuff like that.
That name sounds familiar.
He did the Tomorrow War, that Chris Pratt movie that went to Amazon.
yeah.
So he's kind of like up and coming, I guess. But he's from Florida. Okay.
Nice.
To top it off, this film about Dracula and Renfield, it's set in modern day, okay, in New Orleans.
Oh, shit.
So
yeah.
it's just like stacked for us to do on the podcast. So I'm really it's not only is it Dracula and it's Nicolas Cage and Robert Kirkman, like all this stuff I love, but it's coming out April of this year supposedly. So I think it should be something that we try to do for the podcast as soon as we can check it out.
Yeah.
The other one is called Last Voyage of the Demeter.
Yeah, yeah.
And this one was exciting to me because it's on a very specific chapter of Dracula that they're going to expand on it, obviously, because it's a very brief journal entry from a character, and they're going to explore this ship that transports Dracula from Carpathia to London.
Right.
And this is a doomed ship. If you've ever read the novel or seen any of the movies, you know that pretty much everyone on board gets killed. But I think it's really ripe for someone to take that concept and run with it. And it's directed by your boy, the guy that directed The Autopsy of Jane Doe.
Oh yeah,
and,
Andre Overdahl.
Yeah. So I thought that was really exciting. And one of the main actors is, which I can't pronounce his name. It's like David Demastadalian.
Oh,
Polka Dot Man.
Dash Melon. Yeah, that dude.
Who I really like that guy. I mean, everything he pops up in, he does a great job. And
Did you love him in? He was in a Kevin Smith movie.
Oh, I didn't see that. I guess, or I don't remember him.
Oh shit! Which one was it?
Was it Reboot?
I mean, it would have to be Reboot, right? But yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Reboot.
He's someone, I think he's one of those, he's like Dick Miller at this point, where you recognize him, and you're like, oh, that guy. But I think he's on the cusp of kind of becoming almost a leading man, so it's kind of cool to see him be at the top billing of a, pretty big project. So, and then there's also the Robert Eggers Nosferatu. Apparently that's a thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if that'll actually come out in 2023.
Right.
So those are the Dracula projects that I'm excited about. I give the microphone back over to you.
Speaking of ones, I don't know for sure if it'll come out in 2023, but I feel like it could be geared up to do that, and that would be... I really look forward, even if it doesn't come out next year, I'm really still super looking forward to making Blair's Toxic Avenger remake.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So, I know I haven't heard much about it in a while, but if it ends up coming out this year, that's one I'm really looking forward to.
You think the pandemic stuff derailed that? Because that has been around for a while.
Yeah, I'm sure it probably did for a little bit.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's another one that can grandfather into us, because I think Macon Blair is a Southerner. Yeah. So we could, even though Trauma is a quintessential New York story.
Yeah, it's very... yeah.
You never know, though. He might put a Southern spin on it. I don't know what he has in mind.
Literally that he's, from New Jersey and all that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it is baked in the DNA. That would be kind of shitty if Macon Blair makes it like in Georgia, the Toxic Avenger. I don't know.
Yeah, but it could end up being something just that they end up setting someplace like that just because it would be cheaper to make it there or something. So yeah, that's one I'm really excited for.
Cool. That's a great pull. I forgot about it. It's been a while.
Yeah. Another one. Some people might want to pull my horror card for this, but I'm super excited about the Teen Wolf movie that's coming out.
Is it based on the series?
Yeah, the MTV TV show.
Is it actual theatrical thing?
It's Paramount Plus.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're doing it. I guess technically would be considered a TV movie. I don't know but yeah, I'm super excited about that. I really love the TV show. I know a lot of people probably wouldn't agree, but I've really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really cool, interesting show that didn't just do like basic, werewolves, vampires and stuff. They got into a lot of like Native American type stuff and like Asian, and they really didn't just rest on the laurels of being like werewolves type thing. They really kind of put in work to offer other type of like creatures and ghosts and beings or whatnot. So
is it called Teen Wolf, the movie?
Or it might just be called Teen Wolf. I don't know what they're calling it exactly.
Because wouldn't the titular character not be a teen anymore?
Technically, but
they're just gonna say he's still a teen.
I guess they're still calling it teen.
It's like a 30-year-old man at this point. Like,
I guess they're still just calling it Teen Wolf.
it is marquee value. It would be kind of dumb, I guess, to
be like Adult Wolf,
former Teen Wolf.
But yeah, no, as far as I know, it's still just called Teen Wolf.
Huh? Maybe there's just a new Teen Wolf.
I think
like his nephew.
It seems like most of the original cast is coming back, but maybe there's like some newer characters and stuff going to be added. Except for Dylan, what's his name? Dylan O'Brien. I don't think he's coming back.
I won't be able to help you with any of this because I don't know anything about this stuff.
It was a good show.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I really liked that show. I know a lot of people would shit on it and just be like it's Twilight with werewolves or something. There's a lot of hot dudes with their shirts off, but it was a good show. I really enjoyed it. There is some like melodrama, a lot of melodrama too. It's a teen, it's a teen drama show, so there is melodrama to it and stuff like that. But I really liked it and thought they had some interesting, cool like baddies of the, not necessarily of the week, because it's not like each episode is its own thing. It's like a full story, but baddies of the season type thing. So since they've come out with that, I've been really looking forward to it.
Teen Wolf the movie.
Yep.
Adam says, check it out. Also, our boy Chad Crawford Kinkle, he has his upcoming project, which apparently he shot in Alaska in 2022. I would hope that it would be slated for 2023.
Right.
Mysterious project that he's always kind of on our radar. So
Yeah.
we'll have to keep an eye out for that. And there's also the Ryan Gosling Wolfman project.
Oh,
But
really?
I think that's pre-production, so I don't know. What's interesting about that, though, is strangely enough, the guy that directed Blue Valentine and The Place Beyond the Pines, very independent, quiet dramas starring Ryan Gosling, he's slated to direct The Wolfman. So that fascinates me, that there's like this indie, intellectual director that does these kind of quiet movies. Well, actually, you know what? There's some bombastic parts of those movies, but you know what I mean?
Right.
Helming a Wolfman project is interesting to me. And Ryan Gosling is like a quintessential monster kid. Like his character in The Place Beyond the Pines has like a Frankenstein tattoo. And for the longest time, I don't think Ryan Gosling's ever been active on Twitter, but he had a placeholder that was official. And it was just a picture of Frankenstein for many years. So I think he's always kind of wanted to be in that sphere. So maybe this was like the right project.
Yeah, he hasn't
to kind of
delved
jump
into horror too much.
Hasn't done a lot of...
Except for Goosebumps, baby.
Oh, when he was a kid?
Yeah, he was in Say Cheese and Die and Say Cheese and Die Again.
I knew he was young Hercules for a minute there. So.
Yeah.
That would have been funny if they had cast him as Hercules for Marvel.
Oh, yeah.
They could have gone full circle. But he has wisely sidestepped superhero fare.
Then he was kind of
that'll last.
He was kind of in that. Oh yeah, he really hasn't done any type of Marvel
Star
or
Wars
DC stuff.
Yeah. But it'll probably happen at some point, unfortunately.
I mean, yeah. If he becomes hard up for money.
He is working with Margot Robbie on that Barbie movie, so you never know. She might whisper in his ear, "Be in DC. Be this guy. Be the new Joker." I don't know. So
I would watch that. I'd be down for him as Joker.
No.
I don't know how I feel about him being Wolfman, but I mean, it could be cool.
Larry Talbot being like a tortured guy with an inner demon. I
could see him do it as far as acting chops. He just seems so modern to me. It's just kind of hard to read it,
Well, I think if they did it, it would be in modern.
You think it'd be in like modern times?
That's my impulse.
I just kind of figured, because the last one they did was period.
Yeah, with
Benicio del Toro.
Yeah.
But maybe they're like, oh, well, look how that turned out. Let's do a modern one.
Maybe. It's already been a few years, though, because, I don't know, I think audiences are more open to some of these concepts because of Marvel movies and all that stuff going mainstream, that a Wolfman movie might do a little better nowadays. But, remains to be seen.
I know for sure, because we were talking about it on the last episode. I know Joe Lynch recently did a movie. I don't know when it's supposed to be coming out or anything, but if it comes out, I love all his movies. So if it ends up coming out in 23, that's definitely something I'll be psyched to see. I think Adam Green has some stuff coming up too. So,
are you at all excited for the Exorcist reboot that David Gordon Green is doing?
Not really in the least bit.
It just seems so unnecessary to me, but that's how I feel about a lot of stuff. So
it just seems, to be fair, the first one, given his track record, the first one will be great, and the other ones will be kind of like, I don't know. We'll see.
Well, is it a trilogy? It's supposed to be like.
I heard it was going to be a trilogy.
I didn't realize that.
I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But that's what I just heard that in passing, that it was supposed to be that. Maybe not. I mean, with that track record, maybe the first one will be great. They had no business being so goddamn good, but they pulled it off, so I don't know why they want to risk it. The TV show was fucking a great way to end the storyline, and I don't know why they want to bring it back up. Like, after those prequels that they come out with that TV show, it should not have been good, and it was fucking amazing. I don't know if you ever watched.
I only watched the first season, really liked it,
Yeah.
and then just fell off of it.
Well, the second season, it was only the 2 seasons. The second season kind of doesn't really follow the main cast of season 1, except for the 2 priests.
Right.
So it's kind of its own thing, because that was the kind of idea was going to be the show was going to each season was going to be following the priests going to like different places and whatnot. So it's a whole new storyline. It was really, really good especially that season 1. And so there's just no reason to do another one. I don't understand it.
It's just knowing what's weird to me. I know IP is king right now, and it probably, in all fairness, always has been. But like, I get that The Exorcist is a big name and it means something in horror and just general population consciousness. But I feel like other than the original, none of them have done well. Like all the sequels, even if they're good, financially haven't really done that well.
No.
And hasn't reached mainstream audiences. So I just always wonder, why are we going back to the well of this 50-year-old franchise over and over and over again?
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense.
Like Halloween makes sense because that shit makes money no matter what they throw out there. But this, I don't really get why the studios always are like positioning top-tier talent to do them, because they never pan out. I don't know.
Even to your point with the TV show, even though it was great, it only lasted 2 seasons.
That's what I mean. Like the third one is a great movie too. But I don't know that it was a hit.
No,
I mean, I
it
feel
wasn't. Not that not that I've ever heard.
So I mean, I don't really understand. I mean, remember the debacle with the prequels that came out?
Oh my
several
God,
years ago? I mean, why? That's recent memory. So it's weird to me that even Blumhouse, who I know they christen, they are a hit factory.
Yeah.
So maybe they just think they know the chemistry to put together.
We got this, guys. But again, like you said, I don't know what the point is. If people aren't really, like you said, they're not going to see them, so what's the point? Maybe David Gordon Green's name and Blumhouse's name is enough to catapult it to get it, makes a good amount of money, but I just, I agree. I don't think The Exorcist brand as a, name as a brand or as a franchise just really brings any money.
Well, I'm rooting for it. It's totally unnecessary and not something I feel compelled to see. I know it sounds terrible, but I like David Gordon Green. I would like for it to be something interesting and different. So you never know. I mean, he might be after Halloween Ends. I know that was very controversial for most people, but I want to see somebody go outside the box and do something different with The Exorcist. But my hunch is that it's not going to be super different.
Yeah, I feel like this would be the franchise doing it, because it's not branded in any certain way. It's not like Halloween where there's 25 sequels before it that have a formula to it. You look at all the sequels that they have done for Exorcist, they're vastly different.
Yeah, that's true.
So it is one where you could kind of explore different options. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm not like you. I'm not super pumped for it, but I'll eventually watch it. We'll see how it goes.
We didn't mention the Friday the 13th prequel. Are you warming up to that idea, or not really super worried about it?
I mean, it's Friday the 13th. I'm gonna watch it. I'm down for it. We'll see. Like I said, I haven't watched really much of his stuff, but he's got a good track record from what I hear.
You mean Brian Fuller?
Brian Fuller, yeah. So I'm down for it. I'm have reservations about how they're going to make it work into a TV show, but I guess if anybody could, it would be him. So I'll be down to watch it.
I haven't really done my homework, but I think a listener pointed out to us that Brian Fuller maybe doesn't have the best track record, because apparently he abandons a lot of the projects he's in and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, he didn't abandon Hannibal, did he?
No, he was with it the whole run.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't know much of it. I know specifically Hannibal and American Gods.
Right.
So, and those are, I just mean the track record of that. They're pretty big and critically successful shows. Mm-hmm. So,
hoping for the best. What about you, listeners/viewers? What are you looking forward to in the year of 2023? Tell us in those comments or on social media. Find us at the Holler Kings.
Let us know.
And in the meantime, like this YouTube video and leave us a comment down below. We'd love to hear from you.
Yes. We're so lonely.
Well, Happy New Year. And thank you for listening. Adam, thank you for joining me.
Thank you, sir, for having me.
And until next time.
Holler at your boys, y'all. No, y'all come back now, you hear?
Oh.
God damn it. Oh. Wait, 2023 is going to be shit.
Oh.
There's a lot of hot dudes with their shirts off.